What's happening, everyone? My name is Phil with PrecisionLED.com, and today we have a 2015 BMW 5 Series F10 chassis we'll be doing an LED interior installation on. Now, this installation is compatible with year models 2010 and up. For today's installation, we'll be using a premium 5730 style LED kit from PrecisionLED.com, and it will also be compatible with our standard conversion kit, which is a 5050 style SMD LED. Now, if you want to know more about the difference between standard and premium, you can hit the description link below and check out information on that comparison. For today's install, we'll be doing the front map and dome lights, the rear map and dome lights, the 4 courtesy door lights, along with the trunk and the backup reverse light. Now, if you could take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, we'd really appreciate it. It helps get the word out for other customers who are looking for product knowledge, as well as motivates us to make more videos for you and potentially other cars that you might own or your friends might own. Let's get started. Every Precision LED kit comes with 3 interior trim tools to help you along with your installation. We have a fork-shaped wedge tool, a serrated knife tool with a flat end, along with the pointed wedge tool. For the overhead console, we'll be using the pointed wedge tool only to release the clips that are holding this to the roof liner. Now, as you can see, we've already installed 2 of the LEDs in place and are just looking to install the 3rd and get access to this 3rd map light bulb on the driver's side. In order to do that, we're going to be using the pointed wedge tool, coming in from the side of the panel and releasing 2 clips on these sides and clips here to drop the headliner down. So, you're going to start about a thumb length distance from this point right here. And you're going to use it to release the metal clip that's holding it in place. That's 1. And that's 2. So as you can see, the points we were trying to get access to are here and here. And with the tool, I was coming in from the bottom and pushing it inward. And that gave us access. Now the last bulb that we need to replace is this one right here. So, this one comes out pretty easily. And we replace it with our premium LED. Now this is not polarity specific, meaning if you plug it in this way or if you plug it in this way, it's still going to work. There's circuitry inside this bulb that lets you use it either way. Once it's in, all we're doing is placing it back in the housing and twisting to lock. You do want to test the bulb to make sure it works before putting it back into the headliner. The way this thing goes in, this back side gets inserted first, and then all you're doing is pushing the rest of this in place so the clips lock in. And that's all there is to it. For the rear overhead console, it's slightly different. As you can see, we've already installed one of the LEDs, but we need to get to the dome light and the passenger side halogen bulb. In order to do that, we're going to be using the fat end of the fork-shaped tool, and we're going to come in from one side, wedge in between, and push the whole panel this way as we force this one out. And as you can see, we're starting to expose the clips that were holding it in place. There you go. So as you can see, there are 3. And once you get the panel out, the reason we didn't come in from the other side where these flexible clips are is they're designed a little bit differently. They're more just to hold pressure than to actually bend to release from this side. So you want to make sure you come from this side to get at these stationary clips. We're actually going to need to access these balls from a workbench, so we're going to remove it from power just by pressing down on each side here and pulling the wire cables out. Just like that. Now this rear overhead console, we've already done one of the LEDs. The other one is very simple. You just twist to unlock the black cap here. You remove the bulb, put one of your new LEDs in, and you reinstall. The only difference here is this center dome light will be different between the premium and the standard versions of our kits. Now, with the premium bulb, the diameter is slightly too large for the plastic for it to fit through traditionally. With the standard bulb, it fits through. In order to get around this issue, you remove this plastic lens so you can insert the bulb from the bottom. The way to do that is to use the fork-shaped tool, and you'll see that there are small indentations where this clear lens is being held in place all around the rim. You want to carefully release those using this tool, starting from one edge, just slowly working your way around. Once you have all the clips released, panel flips up, comes right out. Now, you can take your premium bulb, push it through from the bottom, flip it over, and now attach it to the bulb holder, twist it in place, and there you go. To reinstall, insert the lens at an angle, and then clip it back in place. And now we can reinstall this assembly into the vehicle. To get this overhead console back into the headliner, we're first going to test the lights and plug power in. Make sure all 3 bulbs work, which they do. And when we reinstall, we're actually reinstalling the back side first that we removed, and then forcing up. Now this will take a decent amount of effort, but once they're in, it's nice and secure. And we're done. Now the courtesy door lights are the same on both the passenger driver's side front and rear. So we only have to do this process once to show you. We're going to use the flat end of the serrated knife tool. You're always going to start from the inside edge of the door to remove this panel. You're just going to wedge in between and force it down. The reason we're always starting from this side is because the wiring is always coming from the side closest to the edge of the door, and if you try to remove from this side, you're going to end up breaking this clip, which is rather important. In order to access the bulb, we're twisting counterclockwise to unlock and exposing the halogen bulb. Now, this is typically going to be very hot, so you will want to use a pair of pliers to remove the bulb and not burn yourself. All you're doing is replacing it with a new LED and putting the cover back on, turning it clockwise once you find the grooves to lock it in place. And remember, you're always reinstalling it with the wiring facing the edge of the door, just like that. The trunk lid on the BMW is pretty easy to remove. We're going to be using the flat end of the serrated knife tool. You're going to come in from the side where there's a small indentation here, and you're going to press very gently in order to release it from the hood liner. Now, this is a notoriously weak piece of plastic, so when you're coming in at it, you only want to move it very slightly in order to get it out. If you move it too far, you're too aggressive, this piece snaps and then this thing will never go back in properly. Now that you have it out, we're just going to remove the connector and actually work on getting this metal piece off on our workbench. There are 2 clips, one here and one here, holding this metal reflector bracket in place. In order to remove the bracket, we're going to use the pointed wedge tool, and we're actually going to lift up at the bottoms here to release the clips right here, one on each side. Once you lift them up, you should be able to pull this entire piece back and it should come up and out. Once that piece is out, you can then bend this metal back into place where it used to be, so when you slide it back on, it clips into place. Now that we have access, we're just going to take our tool and push out the old halogen bulb and insert our new LED. For this, you want to make sure that these metal leads are facing towards the edges of the housing, the plastic here, and that's to make sure that it makes good contact with the metal connectors on this trunk housing piece. Now, if you had the trunk strip, you would use a different connector here on this side, and we'll show you that later. For now, this metal bracket is going to go back on top. You can see there's rails on the four corners here. Those need to go first into the empty spaces of this plastic clip. We push down, just like that, and then you're going to push this whole piece forward and it clicks into place right there. Now we can go ahead and reassemble this back into the trunk housing. Alright, we're just going to plug this back in. It should turn on its own. It connects with the wiring side going into the left first, and then you slowly push this in so it clamps into place. Now, had you purchased the optional trunk strip, this trunk strip would line up right at the top edge here and attach here, or optionally it would go near the back here, and we'll show you how to do that process right now. For the trunk strip installation, instead of installing the LED bulb into the holder, you're going to be installing the power connector in its place. And as you can see, we have the wire lead coming out from this end, and we're just going to plug our connector back in and at least install this back into its proper place. Now, there's a couple options for where you can put this. Again, you could start from the top here, or the more common location is right here, right behind the light. Easiest thing to do, put this in half, find your center line, which is going to be right here where the bulb is, and just remove the sticky tape that's on the back of this thing and attach it to the metal roof liner. So let's just go ahead and do that now. Now, one thing to note is you have a bag of 3M double-sided sticky tape pads, and the reason we include these is so you can use them in the gaps that you see here to give you a flat surface and some additional points where you have strong contact so that the LED strip doesn't fall off the roof liner when it's on. So we're going to attach those now before we get the strip in place. These are also good for securing the extra wiring at the front and at the end. So, and let's just make this sure that this works before we put all the effort into installing it. There we go. And again, we're going to find our center and start right in the middle. This one we're actually going to curve into this right here. I'm actually going to use this last piece
on the very end of the connector, just to make sure that always stays in place. Now, all of this extra wiring that you see here, you can actually get it inside of the trunk so you don't see it. And there's an easy way to do that. Just remove this, and you're going to force all the wiring up into this section here where it's empty. Just like that. And from the outside, no one will be able to see any of this besides the light coming down. It'll give a really nice, bright trunk light for you. The second trunk light is actually on the trunk lid, and in order to remove that, we're just going to come in from one side, release it down. And this is on our left, but you just want to make sure that you're not pulling it from the side with the wiring. This is very similar to the courtesy door lights that we did earlier. Twist to unlock. This bulb is hot, so we're just going to use some pliers to release it and replace it with a new LED. Installation is the same. Twist clockwise to secure it, and it just goes in place like that. In order to access the backup reverse light housing, which is here on the trunk lid, we have to remove all this felt liner from the trunk light itself. And for that, you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver to unscrew all these small black pieces that are holding them in. So you would just unscrew them to the point where they stop moving, and then use just a pair of pliers to remove those. We're going to go ahead and do that to every single one. A lot of these I've pre-unscrewed just to make the process a little bit quicker. Now you don't have to remove the whole thing, but starting from the top here, we're just going to work over down. I think you have to remove this as well. And this is your emergency tool case. Oh, sorry, there's one more right here. Now it should come out nice and easy. Now you have access to this assembly here. There's a clip here. And now you have the backup reverse light right here. Now this one just twists to be released, and we'll go ahead and put a premium bulb in its place. The new premium bulb, you'll see that there are indentations here for where the ball end goes in. You push down and twist to lock it in place.
Now while we have it out, I am going to turn the vehicle on and go into reverse just to show that that light bulb is working. Now that we know it works, we can insert back in place. These are guiding pins for where this needs to go. You hear the click sound. And all we have to do now is put all of our pieces back. We're also going to do it the same process on the other side and then button this back up and you should be good to go. And that's the end of the installation. If you have any questions or concerns, please email us at help@precisionled.com, or you can reach us online and submit a support ticket at www.precisionled.com/contact. Now, like we said before, please like or subscribe if you enjoyed the video or enjoyed the process for what we do. It really does help us out when we make the next one, knowing that there's people out there watching the videos. Have a good one.